Salut mon pote, comment ça va? Chapitre numéro 4. Aujourd'hui, on va continuer à suivre l'histoire d'Olivia. Dans ce chapitre, on va parler des prépositions, these small grammar words that you need to talk about countries and cities, for example, en, au, à, etc. Les villes de France, so some cities in France, and a lot of new vocabulary. Okay? So we find again our character Olivia, who has to register, d'accord? Elle doit s'inscrire to the university in France. So she has to start by filling this formulaire d'inscription, which is the registration form. I would like you to fill in these informations, these fields with these informations, okay? C'est bon? You can do this on your notebook. Hein? You can just say, okay, par exemple, âge, bien sûr, c'est 23 ans. Nationalité, bien sûr, c'est canadienne. Et maintenant, nom, prénom is the name and the first name. D'accord? Donc ici, on va avoir, par exemple, prénom Olivia, nom Johnson. Par exemple, moi, mon prénom c'est Nicolas. Ok? Très bien. Et maintenant, elle doit choisir une université. She has to choose a university. Donc ici, le pays, c'est la France. Again, we saw this word before. I know the spelling is very strange, but the pronunciation is P-I. It sounds like this actually. P-I. Pays. Et la ville, well, she has to choose a city, donc une ville, a city, in France. Qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? On a Paris, you can repeat after me. Hein? These are the main cities in France. These are the 10 biggest cities in France. Donc on a Paris, Marseille, Please really take the time to repeat after me, focusing on the pronunciation. Lyon, Toulouse. Careful, this one is not nice. This is Nice. Nantes. Montpellier, Strasbourg, Bordeaux et Lille, which is the city where I personally come from in France. So these are the 10 biggest cities in France. Now, I would like you, on your notebook, to do a quick spelling exercise. So I will spell the cities for you, and I want you to write down the cities. Ok? Numéro 1. Paris. P-A-R-I-S. P-A-R-I-S. Paris. Numéro 2. Marseille. M-A-R-S-E-I-L-L-E. M-A-R-S-E-I-L-L-E. Numéro 3. Lyon, L-Y-O-N. L-Y-O-N. 4. Toulouse, T-O-U-L-O-U-S-E. T-O-U-L-O-U-S-E. Numéro 5. Nice, N-I-C-E. N-I-C-E. C'est bon? So, these are the 5 biggest cities in France in terms of population. Here you have the map of France, and here you have the 5 biggest cities. Donc on a Paris. Obviously, I think Paris is the most famous French city. It's the capital city of the country. Hein? Paris. Be careful. In French, you don't pronounce the S. You don't hear this S. It's not Paris. This is Paris. Then the second biggest city in France in the south is Marseille. Okay, it's very hot weather. Not so far from Marseille, Lyon. Lyon, the third biggest city in France. Then Toulouse, still in the south. Okay, very hot weather as well. Toulouse. And in the south again, Nice. So a lot of the biggest cities in France are located towards the south. Ok? Très bien. Donc, Olivia, she has to choose one city to go to the university. But
I don't know what to choose. I will check the student forum of the university.
Ok. Donc, allons au forum des étudiants. Let's check the forum of the students. Okay? Étudiants, les étudiants, the students. Alors, regardons ce forum des étudiants. So I want you to take a look at this exercise. Here you have 5 students, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For each of them, you will hear their presentation, and I want you to match le prénom, leur pays, la ville et les études. So the prénom is their first name. Here, for example, her name is Aina, and you will have to find Gabriel, Sissa, Evie. Then le pays, you will have to tell me where do they come from. For example, Brésil, Cameroun, Pays-Bas, Malaisie, Algérie. Then la ville, what city do they come from? Kuala Lumpur, Alger, Amsterdam, Douala, Sao Paulo. And finally, études is in what city in France they will do their studies. Par exemple, Lille, Nantes, Strasbourg, Paris, Montpellier. Okay? Ça va? Please take a moment. You can pause the video to prepare your notebook, take some notes, and we're going to listen to it one first time, okay? It's not very slow. It's going to go pretty fast, okay? I don't want to make it too slow for you. So really try to focus, and we're going to listen to it more than one time. Don't worry. If you're ready, let's go.
Coucou, je m'appelle Aina. J'habite à Kuala Lumpur en Malaisie et je vais étudier en France à Montpellier.
Moi, c'est Evie. Je vis aux Pays-Bas, j'habite à Amsterdam. En septembre, je vais aller à Nantes.
Je m'appelle Anas, j'habite en Algérie. Maintenant, j'habite à Alger, mais je vais bientôt partir à Paris.
Moi, c'est Sissa, j'habite au Cameroun, à Douala. À la rentrée, je vais commencer l'université à Lille.
Je suis Gabriel, j'habite à São Paulo, au Brésil. Je vais bientôt étudier à Strasbourg.
Ça va? Let's listen to it one more time. I think now you see what you have to do and you see what I mean, okay? Let's listen to it one more time. Obviously, in between each student, you can pause the video. Tu peux mettre la vidéo en pause pour écrire.
Coucou, je m'appelle Aina. J'habite à Kuala Lumpur en Malaisie et je vais étudier en France à Montpellier.
Moi, c'est Evie. Je vis aux Pays-Bas, j'habite à Amsterdam. En septembre, je vais aller à Nantes.
Je m'appelle Anas, j'habite en Algérie. Maintenant, j'habite à Alger, mais je vais bientôt partir à Paris.
Moi, c'est Sissa, j'habite au Cameroun, à Douala. À la rentrée, je vais commencer l'université à Lille.
Je suis Gabriel, j'habite à São Paulo, au Brésil. Je vais bientôt étudier à Strasbourg.
Ça va? If you want, obviously you can go back, listen to it one more time. No?
Coucou, je m'appelle Aina. J'habite à Kuala Lumpur en Malaisie et je vais étudier en France à Montpellier.
Moi, c'est Evie. Je vis aux Pays-Bas, j'habite à Amsterdam. En septembre, je vais aller à Nantes.
Je m'appelle Anas, j'habite en Algérie. Maintenant, j'habite à Alger, mais je vais bientôt partir à Paris.
Moi, c'est Sissa, j'habite au Cameroun, à Douala. À la rentrée, je vais commencer l'université à Lille.
Je suis Gabriel, j'habite à São Paulo, au Brésil. Je vais bientôt étudier à Strasbourg.
Ok, donc maintenant tu as toutes les informations. Ça va? Donc on a Aina, elle habite en Malaisie, à Kuala Lumpur. And she's going to study, hein, elle va étudier à Montpellier. Sissa, elle habite au Cameroun, à Douala. Et elle va étudier à Lille. Gabriel, il habite au Brésil, à Sao Paulo. Il va étudier à Strasbourg. Anas, il habite en Algérie, à Alger. Il va étudier à Paris. Evie habite aux Pays-Bas, à Amsterdam. Et elle va étudier à Nantes. Ok? I hope the listening was not too difficult, but it's supposed to be maybe a bit difficult. If it's just a bit difficult, it's perfect, okay? Now I would like to take a look at this text again. So this was the presentation we just listened to, and I think you can guess where I'm going with this. I want to focus on all these little words that we put in front of countries and cities. En, a, o, etc. Because I'm sure you have noticed already, French is full of these little words, these little grammar words that don't have a meaning by themselves, you know, like Malaisie, for example, by itself has a meaning. Malaisie is Malaisie, it's the country Malaisie. Even if I don't put it in a sentence, it has a meaning because it is the country Malaisie. But en, o, a, they don't mean anything by themselves. These are just grammar words that we put in the sentences in French to link the words together, and that can be confusing for some people sometimes. It's just like le, la, les that we have seen in the chapitre numéro 2. Okay? And these words are very useful because you will use them all the time. Not only for countries and cities, but in the future, you will see that we will use them again and again in a lot of context. Donc, these words, if you care, we call them prépositions, but for now, this is not so important. Remember, we saw in the past that in French, almost everything has a gender. Masculin ou féminin, so like male or female. And we even saw that even countries, they have a gender, right? For example, here, can you look at these countries that we have just seen? And I want you to classify them in these 4 categories. Pays féminin, so the female countries. Pays masculin, the male countries. Pays au pluriel, some countries they are pluriel, okay, plural, in which case I don't really care anymore if it's masculin or féminin. And the countries with a name that start with a vowel, like A, E, I, O, U, etc. So all these countries, I want you to classify them here, okay? Vas-y. You can pause the video and do this now. C'est bon? On regarde. Alors, comment je sais quel pays est féminin, quel pays est masculin? Let's start with the most obvious one. Well, I think the most obvious one is Algérie, right? It starts with a vowel, it's obvious, and it starts with the letter A. Then I know that Malaisie et France are feminine because I use the article la. La Malaisie, la France. I know that Brésil et Cameroun are masculin because I use the article le. Le Brésil, le Cameroun. And I know that les Pays-Bas, the Netherlands, is a pluriel country, somehow, don't ask me why, because I use the article les. Les, okay? Les Pays-Bas. So now, when I look at the text again, you can see very easily, if you pay attention, that these words, en, au, etc., I will use different words, different prepositions, depending on is the country féminin, masculin ou pluriel. Okay? And so, could you fill this tab right here? Between en, au, okay, these three right here, the three that are in red color here, can you put them in this tab? Can you find which one we use in front of pays masculin, pays féminin ou pays au pluriel? Obviously, in front of a masculine country, I use au. J'habite au Cameroun. Okay. J'habite au Cameroun. I live in Cameroun. In front of pays féminin, I use en. J'habite en, en Malaisie. Je vais étudier en France. Malaisie, France, they are feminine countries. Interesting to notice that because of a liaison story, because we want to do the liaison, if a country starts with a vowel, like Algérie, I will also use en in front of it. Because then I can do the liaison en Algérie. What I mean here is that is Algérie masculin or feminine country? I almost want to answer, we don't really care so much because it starts with a vowel, so anyway I will use en, so I can do the liaison. En Algérie. Okay? And finally, for the pluriel country, I will use au, a-u-x. Now pay attention, this one and this one, they have exactly the same pronunciation. O, O. No difference. Okay? Très bien. And now, what about this one, the last one here? À Kuala Lumpur, à Montpellier, à Amsterdam, à Alger, à Paris, à Douala, à Lille, à Strasbourg, à Sao Paulo. What about this one? Well, the rule is that in French, cities, they don't have a gender. So in front of them, I put this preposition, which is very neutral, à. Okay? So again, in front of a masculine country, a country like a male country, I put au. Par exemple, j'habite au Cameroun. J'habite au Brésil. I live in Cameroon. I live in Brazil. In front of a pays féminin, or a pays that starts with a vowel, I will use en. Okay? En Malaisie, en France, en Algérie. In front of pluriel country, I will use O, A, U, X, but the pronunciation is the same as this one. Par exemple, aux Pays-Bas. And for the cities, pour les villes, I will use A all the time. Now, you have noticed that about this A, there is an accent on it, right? But I don't hear the accent. The accent doesn't change the pronunciation. So why is there an accent like this on top of it? Well, it is to make the difference between this one and this one. What do I mean by this? We just saw that in front of a city, I use the preposition à. Par exemple, j'habite à Paris. I live in Paris. Okay? Well, this à is a grammar word, a preposition, that means like in a city, for example. You will see in the future that there are a billion ways to use this preposition, but this is like a grammar word that we use to link things together. We put the accent because we don't want to confuse these grammar words with the letter A. Because what is the letter A? The letter A, as we've seen before, is actually the verb avoir, right? To have when I say il a, elle a. You remember we saw this before. So, whenever you are using the verb avoir, there's no accent because it's normal. But to avoid confusing avoir and the grammar preposition, on the grammar preposition we put this accent that we don't hear. Okay? So we don't get confused between them. That's the rule. Okay? Très bien. So here's the summary of everything. This tab you can write down on your notebook. This is like, from now on, I consider that this is understood. On peut faire tout de suite un exercice. So I would like you to pause the video right here and copy down the sentences on your notebook, filling the blanks with the preposition. C'est bon? I'm counting on you to really pause the video and do it yourself on your notebook. On regarde. Je suis né au Canada, j'habite à Toronto. I am born in Canada, I live in Toronto. Mon ami habite en Chine, à Shanghai. My friend lives in China, in Shanghai. Vous vivez en France? Oui, à Paris. Do you live in France? Yes, in Paris. Ils sont à New York, aux États-Unis. They are in New York, aux États-Unis. Something interesting to notice here is that États-Unis, the United States, is a pluriel country. So I use O-A-U-X. But on top of this, it starts with a vowel. So I will do the liaison with the X and it will sound like aux États-Unis. Okay? Aux États-Unis. Because there is one more liaison here as well. Je vais en Argentine en octobre. Argentine start with a vowel, donc en Argentine. Nous sommes aux Pays-Bas. Très bien. Now, do you remember I told you last time that in France, whenever there is a grammar rule, there will always be a small exception. So some special cases that somehow don't follow the main rule. So it's always like this. Here you will have an exception to this rule. The exception is that somehow, don't ask me why, some countries in the world, instead of using en, o, they are using a, just like the cities. I don't know why, that's just like this, that's the exception. And most of the time, these countries are islands. So this is why you will say, for example, j'habite à Taïwan, j'habite à Singapour, j'habite à Cuba. There are other cases, these are just 3 examples of countries that we use, countries with which we use the preposition à instead of the normal ones. That's just how it is. Okay? Très bien. So, Olivia, she still has to choose what university to go to. I think to make up her mind, she was looking for informations online about the cities, and she found out this video. We are not going to watch it completely, but we will watch part of it, about the city of Lille, la ville de Lille, which is the 10th biggest city in France in the north of the country. Even if you don't understand everything in the video, that's not the point, it's just a bit of a cultural information about the country.
Alors il y a l'opéra et moi qui attends sur les marches depuis un bon moment. La Grand Place, où j'ai aussi pas mal attendu. 683 rendez-vous donnés devant cette fontaine. D'ailleurs, en parlant d'attendre, il y a 7 arrêts de bus, celui-là, et puis celui-là, et celui-là aussi. Mais attention, celui-là est spécial. Tu te souviens? Il y a les bancs de la fac de droit, et les cours séchés que je n'ai jamais rattrapés. Pourtant, des photocopies, j'en ai fait, tu sais. Mais je crois que ça n'a pas suffi. Si tu me cherches, je traîne souvent dans le Vieux-Lille, rue des Vieux Murs ou rue de la Monnaie. Et quand le soleil du Nord est d'accord, je me pose place de l'île aux Comtesses. Ici. Là! Juste là! Viens! Sinon, c'est au café du Moulin d'Or que je me réfugie. Et là, je deviens l'héroïne d'un film de Woody Allen. Oh! J'allais oublier la rue de la Clé et ma librairie préférée. Et si tu me cherches encore, je suis peut-être dans une galerie d'art à contempler une œuvre trop grande pour mon appartement. Tu m'as pas trouvé? J'aime manger. Des moules, des frites, du maroilles, des croques, de la carbonade. Mais le plus merveilleux des merveilleux, c'est le merveilleux de chez Merveilleux. Je me dis qu'après avoir enchaîné les longueurs à la piscine Marc Zormois, j'ai bien le droit, non? 800 mètres sans m'arrêter, c'est pas rien. Je m'auto-like. Je suis pas leur Manoudou, mais quand même. Par contre, à Lille, ce qui est pratique, c'est que t'as pas besoin de te sécher les cheveux, de toute façon il pleut. Bon, d'accord, j'exagère un peu. Puis de toute façon, tu sais très bien qu'en tant que grande sportive, j'adore aller courir à la Citadelle. S'il fait beau dimanche prochain, on y va? Je t'attendrai là où tu sais. Il y a le marché du dimanche matin. Tu sais, du côté d'Oisem. Regarde cette vie, ces couleurs. Respire. Oh, j'ai encore faim. Mon restaurant préféré est rue de Gand. J'aime les estaminets du Vieux-Lille et leur décor étonnant. L'intimité de notre table, le bruit sourd des assiettes et des rires. La nuit nous enveloppe doucement.
Allez. I hope you are interested in seeing this kind of cultural documents. I think it's to do a small break, you know, in the course. So I hope that's not boring for you to watch this. I will put, obviously, the video as a reference below the course for you to watch. Also, I wanted to tell you that if right now you don't understand anything of the video, well, you can be excited by the fact that in a few months you will be able to understand way more if you keep studying like you are doing right now. Obviously, Olivia decided to choose to go to Lille after seeing the video. And so she will go back to the website of the university to contact Sissa, which is also a student who will study in Lille. So, can you help Olivia sending a message to Sissa? I want you to pause the video right here and put these words back to fill in the blanks, to write logical messages. You may not understand every single word, but everything is logical and you should be able to fill in the blanks. Vas-y. Tu peux mettre la vidéo en pause ici. You can pause the video here and copy down the sentences on your notebook to fill in the blanks. C'est bon? On regarde. Bonjour Sissa. Je m'appelle Olivia. J'ai 23 ans. Je suis canadienne et j'habite à Toronto. Je pense que ça va, hein? Je parle anglais et j'étudie le français. I speak English and I study French. We've seen all of this. No, slightly more difficult parts, but still logical. Dans quelques jours, je vais aller en France pour étudier à l'Université de Lille. Don't tell me that you don't know what to put here. Université de Lille is written right here. That's the story of the course. She's going to Lille University. Huh? So, it's not because you don't understand dans quelques jours, for example, that you don't know that you should put Lille here. Huh? Like, let's keep it logical. So, dans quelques jours, in a few days, je vais aller en France. I will go to France pour étudier, to study, in the University of Lille. And we've seen this one before. You know that est-ce que is used to ask questions. Est-ce que tu peux m'aider? Can you help me? Est-ce que tu peux m'aider? Ok? Réponse de Sissa. So, Sissa answers with a vocal message. Let's listen to her vocal message. For now, just focus on what she says. Don't try to, okay? Just close your eyes and focus.
Coucou Olivia. Bien sûr, je peux t'aider. Je viens de Douala. Maintenant, j'habite à Paris et en septembre, je vais aussi étudier à l'Université de Lille. Tu peux m'envoyer un message sur WhatsApp. Mon numéro, c'est 06 14 45 67 32. À bientôt.
C'est bon? Alors, again, don't worry if she's speaking a bit fast. We're going to listen to it again. Let's look at this question. Sissa peut aider Olivia? So, Olivia is asking for help to Sissa, to give her like informations about the city, the university, etc. Sissa can help Olivia? Oui ou non? In the audio file, is she saying that she can help her or she cannot help her? Elle peut l'aider, elle peut aider Olivia, oui ou non? Ensuite, elle parle de Douala au Cameroun, Paris en France et Lille en France. Elle habite somewhere, elle va étudier somewhere, elle vient de somewhere, right? So, she lives somewhere, she's going to study somewhere, and she comes from somewhere. We saw this one in Unité 0. And finally, I want you to listen to her phone number and write it down. This one obviously is very difficult because she speaks fast, but by now you should understand that you can pause the video when she says her phone number, for example. After each number she says, you can pause the video, think, okay, write it down, play, pause, write it down, play, pause, etc. Okay? C'est bon? We listen to it one more time.
Coucou Olivia. Bien sûr, je peux t'aider. Je viens de Douala. Maintenant, j'habite à Paris et en septembre, je vais aussi étudier à l'Université de Lille. Tu peux m'envoyer un message sur WhatsApp. Mon numéro, c'est 06 14 45 67 32. À bientôt.
C'est bon? Maybe one last time, again.
Coucou Olivia. Bien sûr, je peux t'aider. Je viens de Douala. Maintenant, j'habite à Paris et en septembre, je vais aussi étudier à l'Université de Lille. Tu peux m'envoyer un message sur WhatsApp. Mon numéro, c'est 06 14 45 67 32. À bientôt.
Ok, c'est bon? Here's the transcription of the...
Coucou Olivia. Bien sûr, je peux t'aider. Je viens de Douala. Maintenant, j'habite à Paris, et en septembre, je vais aussi étudier à l'Université de Lille. Tu peux m'envoyer un message sur WhatsApp. Mon numéro, c'est 06 14 45 67 32. À bientôt.
Alors, coucou Olivia. Bien sûr, je peux t'aider. This one is interesting. Bien sûr. Of course, I can help you. Bien sûr, of course, I can help you. Je peux t'aider. Je viens de Douala. So, I come from Douala. Elle vient de Douala. Maintenant, right now, maintenant, j'habite à Paris. I live in Paris. Et en septembre, in September, je vais aussi étudier à l'université de Lille. So, she's going to study in Lille University. Tu peux m'envoyer un message sur WhatsApp. You can send me a WhatsApp message. Mon numéro, c'est le... Ok, let's go together. 06 14 45 67 32. À bientôt. Ok? Très bien. Again, I know we haven't seen every single word here. We haven't seen aussi, v, peu, maintenant, etc. That's not the point necessarily for you to understand every single word, but that's the point for you to get the idea of what she's saying, and with everything we have seen until now, you should be able. Ok? Très bien. Donc Olivia, perfect. She has found a friend in Lille already. She says, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Très bien. Let's review some of the vocabulary that we have seen today. Alors, you can repeat after me the pronunciation. Université, université, numéro de téléphone, numéro de téléphone, pays, pays, ville, ville, trouver, trouver, aider, aider, contacter, contacter, étudiant, étudiant, étudiante, étudiante. By the way, we have seen contacter ici, hein. Contacter si ça, to contact si ça, et trouver ici. Trouver les villes, find the cities. Aider, to help Olivia. As you can see, trouver, aider, contacter. These are verbs of the first group, just like we've seen last time. Hein? So you already know how to conjugate them. Okay, can you match each word with a drawing? You can pause the video here, and for each word, you match one of the drawings. Ok? C'est bon? On regarde. On a donc un pays, a country, un étudiant, a student, for a male, une étudiante, a student, for a female, for a woman, université is the university, numéro de téléphone, the phone number, and then we have new verbs, aider, which means to help, contacter, to contact someone, trouver, to find something or someone. Okay? Right now, like I was saying, you know already how to conjugate all of these verbs because we've seen this in last chapter, how to conjugate all the verbs ending in ER. So I would like you to pause the video right here and copy these sentences on your notebook, conjugating the verbs. C'est bon? On regarde. Si ça aide Olivia, tu contactes ton ami, ES parce que c'est tu. Je trouve mon téléphone, I find my phone. Pardon. Vous aidez vos parents, you help your parents. Nous contactons notre famille, we contact our family. Sissa et Olivia parlent anglais. Sissa et Olivia, they speak English. Olivia étudie le français. Je parle un peu français. I speak a bit of French. Ok? Très bien. And finally, what we saw at the beginning, so in French, that's the French idea that people have in France. What we call prénom is the first name in English, right? Par exemple ici, Maëlys Gaël Marie. By the way, in France, it is very common to have 2 or 3 first names. For example, even me, myself, I have actually 3 first names. So my name is, my first name, mon prénom, okay, is Nicolas, but I have 2 other prénoms. I have 2 other first names. It's just that in the daily life, we only use one. But on your ID, you have many first names. And then what we call the nom, or sometimes also we say nom de famille, is the last name or family name. Okay? Nom de famille. So be conscious of this distinction between nom et prénom. Okay? Très bien. Last exercise, I would like you to match the category of information here on the left with the words here on the right. Okay? So you can pause the video here and do this on your notebook. C'est bon? On regarde. Alors, un numéro de téléphone, obviously, is a phone number. Let's do a bit of reading, okay? I want you to read it first. 06 16 52 44 10. Très bien. Ensuite, le nom, c'est Dupont, so the last name. You could argue that Thomas can be a family name, which is true, but Dupont cannot be a first name. So, you know, at the end of the day, only this combination makes sense. L'âge, bien sûr, c'est 45 ans. Nationalité, tunisien. Pays, Thaïlande. Don't mistake nationality and country. The nationality of Thailand is Thaïlandais for men, Thaïlandaise for women. The country of Tunisien is Tunisie. Okay? So that's a nationality, that's a country. Be careful. Hein? Prénom, Thomas, bien sûr. Et la ville, well here Madrid, c'est une ville. Ok? Très bien. C'est tout. C'est tout pour aujourd'hui. So as I was mentioning earlier, I will put below in the course the video about the city of Lille. I think it's nice to watch because even if you don't understand everything, it gives you an overview of this very famous city in the north of France. On top of this, this is the city where I come from and I grew up for most of it. And on top of this, it has subtitles that are accurate. So, perfect video for you to watch. About the devoir for the homeworks. There will be 3 exercises in the PDF file as always. And on top of this, 1 podcast practice on RFI and 1 video exercise on TV5 Monde. Both RFI and TV5 Monde exercises about the preposition that we saw today. En, au, etc. Finally, in the next chapter, which will be actually our last chapter, because after that it will be just a recap and the final exam. So next chapter will be the last part of the story of this Unité 1. Olivia will go to the airport to go to France. We will learn how to ask very generic questions about anything using quel, more vocabulary, and also we will have a lot of fun learning the numbers that we haven't learned yet. Until now we've seen up to 69, and now we're going to see the last part, which is different from the first part, the part from 70 to 100, from 70 to 100, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay? Travaille bien, I'm counting on you to do the homeworks seriously. Prends soin de toi, bisous et à bientôt. Ciao.